I do kind of feel in general like as solidified as I do feel as though I've
Yeah.
made my legacy.
Pro Wrestling Bits. Subscribe now.
I didn't know that the first match that Trish had was against you in the mixed tag match. So what did you remember from that first interaction? Did you feel the magic then with Trish?
I really did. I mean, it was still, we were firmly implanted in the attitude era which meant there were no rules on anything. And so the the element with, a mixed 6-person match that just felt new. And we just felt like from the very first match we had, the fans were so invested. And I don't know that we thought that day that, oh, this could really be the start of something. But I think we felt that night, oh, this could go all kinds of different ways.
One of the most beautiful things I think about this rivalry is it spawned such a great friendship to where you're now the godmother to Trish's kid. And I think it's really cool that you guys are friends in and out of the ring. But did you ever at any point in this rivalry feel any backstage tension between each other?
Competitiveness, of course, but the cool thing was we're so different and that we kind of consider ourselves the ultimate yin and yang. So if she got something, I'm not what they were looking for, or vice versa, right? So I think that it allowed us to give each other space to go, you do your thing, I'll be over here, and we're going to come together at some point so we cover all the bases.
And the rivalry spans so many different versions, where one point of the documentary was that sometimes Trish was in the good guy role, but then there was also the period where Trish played the mean girl. What version of Trish versus Lita did you prefer performing in?
It's interesting because our characters, whether we're good or bad, are so significantly different, as well as a lot of our moveset. So it did feel almost like working different people with the same familiarity, the same telepathy that we had developed very, very early on, of just having to remind yourself your role. I do say, I think that when I think of it's like babyface Lita with heel Trish. I think it allows Trish to be her like kind of snarky. You want her boo her, but you're also kind of into it. Like, I want you to be mean to me like that. So it allows that. And then I do kind of feel in general like as solidified as I do feel as though I've made my legacy. I still just felt like the kid that wasn't supposed to make it, the underdog that no one believed in, just kind of wandered my way into the WWE ring. Like, I don't feel like I was supposed to be this. I don't think I was supposed to catch on, right? And I know that it was like the fans that kind of made that happen. Like we debuted as an afterthought on Heat. I was just going to be a random person that knew how to take bumps to maybe support other people, and then I became so much more than that. So that still sticks with me. As far as removed as we are, I still feel like the underdog.
That might be a source of motivation in terms of what keeps you going, maybe even to this day, because even though you're the legend Hall of Famer Lita, maybe people can see you as an underdog in this match against Damage Control. So what's your training process been for your now what's going to be a WrestleMania match?
Oh, no, so it absolutely is. And I don't say that feeling like the kid that's not supposed to make it or the underdog in a negative way. It's like, yeah, you use that to go. I mean, kind of like how Liv's embodied that to say, watch me, right? I'm like, cool. I want you to have no faith in me. I want you to think that my best days are behind me, because I'm going to train that much harder to, even if you don't want to say that I showed out in the ring, you're going to kind of have to be like, I mean, it was okay. Right, like, and so that is what I think of. I mean, of course I want to do myself proud, I want to be the best I can, but it is like I want to exceed the expectations that you didn't even think to have for me, because you kind of counted me out.
So do you find yourself training harder for WrestleMania because of that?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, not just because of that. but also because of how high the stakes have been raised and the level of competition since I was on active roster. I don't want to look like the weak link. I don't want the other people in the segment not to feel that they can't depend on me. Like I don't want to be bringing the caliber of the match down. I want to, we set the bar, they raised the bar, and I want to be able to go up on that level.
It's funny that you say that you guys set the bar and they raised the bar. Maybe because I'm biased and I grew up with it, I still hold up Trish versus Lita as the greatest women's feud of all time. But what feuds, if any, do you think have surpassed Trish versus Lita in terms of rivalry with women in present day?
So I feel like because there's so much more content these days than back when we were on Raw, there was 2 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, and now there's 3 hours and 2 hours and all of the, and with the NXT programming and everything else, that we haven't got to see a bunch of these long-term feuds in the continuous way that we did with me and Trish. I still think there's like an underlying Becky and Charlotte feud, but we're just not seeing it right now. I do think they will come together and go apart again. But Trish and I were never really separated from each other from that long. We almost did these side feuds to come right back around. And I don't think that you see that this time. And part of why you don't see that is because there are so many options now, right? Like they have such a rich roster that they don't need to be like, we've seen this match 100 times, because they have so many options of different places to go. But I do think that in some ways that variety doesn't allow these really deep-seated, deep-rooted, like put that next layer on the relationship. Those don't happen as often because of there are so many options of talented people to go to.
Yeah, it's a really good problem to have. And I think because of the amount of talent with women, we've seen all these barriers being broken down, obviously starting with you and Trish, but we've seen women's Royal Rumbles and WrestleMania main events. What to you is the next great evolution for women in wrestling, given how far they've come?
So I've always said this, like, I still do think that there's like this, like, oh, the women's match, and to me, the next barrier is genderless. Like, I don't care how you identify, but we're just going to go out there and show out. And it's not like, oh, well, what women do we have on the show? Where's this representation? It's like, no, fair game. Like everyone go, like grab your spot and we go out there. And some nights that might mean 8 women's match on the card. Some nights that might mean 2, or like whatever it is. It's like to not still feel like it's a box to check to make sure to represent the women. It's like, well, yeah, of course they're going to be represented because they're good.
I feel like we're getting closer and closer to women winning traditionally male titles, like an Intercontinental title, a United States title. Is that something you'd like to see?
Absolutely. Just continuing on in the, like, not being confined by gender. It's like, I see a prize, I go after it. We're not worried about what defines my gender. I see a title and that's what I want to do.
Well, you've got a title that you're defending at WrestleMania, and it's going to be, I think, a very fun and great match with Damage Control alongside Trish and Becky Lynch. Is your match outside of your guys' match that you're looking forward to the most that WrestleMania weekend?
Okay, I have loved to see the evolution of Rhea, what she's been able to do in this past year. I love to see the confidence that she has developed. So there's somebody that we're used to seeing who has always walked out so confident in Charlotte Flair. And so being able to see those two go toe to toe, I wonder, Charlotte, almost like her natural role is to be a heel, right? Because it's like that overconfident vibe. And I almost wonder if Rhea's going to bring that out of Charlotte, because you can only get, shown up with confidence by so much before Charlotte's going to put it right back in your face.
Who do you find yourself rooting for? Because I feel like you relate a little more to Rhea Ripley. She kind of has your same vibes in terms of the tattoos and the kind of punk rock, really big star coming up.
Yeah, I mean, as I know she is the heel in this match, but I'm rooting for her because I feel like she was kind of, you know, Charlotte has earned her spot, but she was also presented with a spot because of her lineage and just stepped up, was able to, and continues to rise to the occasion. Whereas I do feel that Rhea created her spot and carved it out in, you know, to culminate, not even culminate. I still feel like she's just getting started, but in this really high profile match at WrestleMania.
Well, thank you so much. And a final question. I recall you saying that you decided to retire when you would hear your music playing and you really didn't feel anything. Now, fast forward to today where you're back, you're a champion. What do you feel when you hear your music hit?
It just feels so different. I almost feel like a spectator in this chapter in the best way possible. When I was in it 365, it's really hard to get perspective because you're just like, what's my next task? What's my next task? Whereas having lived life on the outside, coming back in, I really feel like I can appreciate all the little moments, like like everything from getting on the plane going, as opposed to it feeling like sometimes a burden, like, geez, my laundry wasn't even dry. I gotta just like keep going. It's being like, cool. I get to go fly across the country for the people that I grew up with, children, to now cheer for me in the ring tonight. Like, how special, like this, like, people don't get that opportunity. So I really love this chapter and being able to soak in every little gift that I have that I feel like I missed out on because I was too busy getting to the next town.
Yeah, it's great. Well, yeah, soak it in. You're a champion. You're doing great now. And I'm looking forward to your match here at WrestleMania in a couple of weeks. So thank you so much, Lita. It was an honor.
Thanks, Albert. Have a good one.